Number 8. Haunted Forest Sculptures. A Japanese artist has come up with a series of lifelike sculptures that terrifies anyone that sees them. Using driftwood as his medium, artist Nagato Iwasaki has created incredibly realistic sculptures that look like a cross between robots and humans. One look at the installation at Mount Fuji, and you might get a strange feeling of familiarity. That is until you realize the figures you're looking at are all made of dead pieces of wood. Each of the unique figures stands at about 5 feet 9 inches, which is taller than a lot of people that dare to stand close. The driftwood has been pieced together to create the wooden humans, and each one has its own quirks and personality. From the scary to the unsettling, each figure looms like a humanoid android frozen mid-pose, looking a bit too much like Slender Man. Blurring the line between flesh and wood, the sculptures were made from driftwood that the artist collected from various locations across Japan. But the man behind these haunting artworks is as mysterious as the art itself. No one knows much about Nagato Iwasaki or what inspired him to create this line, which he simply calls torsos. But that hasn't stopped them from becoming one of the most sought-after creations in Tokyo. From solo and group exhibitions featuring his art, to collaborations with a fashion designer, the torsos being featured in the album cover of a Tokyo-based indie rock band, it's obvious that the chilling, human-like sculptures continue to attract fans, while giving the rest of us a bit of a scare. Number 7. The Sunken Kingdom. Sometimes Mother Nature has a way of revealing the world's hidden secrets. When a storm hit a Wales beach one spring day, it left behind a trail of devastation. But it also left something else behind to surprise the researchers. They realized the storm had unearthed a hidden treasure, one that has ties to a legend from Welsh mythology. An ancient forest of 4,500-year-old trees was exposed after violent wind and massive waves scoured away layers of sand along the shores of Cardigan Bay. The storm was a blessing in disguise. Researchers were thrilled. They discovered an ancient forest of alder, oak, and birch trees that date to the time when Stonehenge was first being built. The forest stretched for 3 miles up the coast, where it was slowly buried under layers of sand and saltwater over the course of millennia when the sea levels rose. Luckily, there were also layers of peat, which experts thought was the key to preserving the old forest for so long. The trees aren't the only remarkable things unearthed on this same coastline. Other excavations have produced fossilized footprints and ancient tools from human settlements that were once there. Until now, the forest was part of a local mythology known as the Sunken Hundred or the Lowland Hundred. These tales from the Middle Ages told of a powerful kingdom that sank after a prince didn't close the gate, causing the ocean to flood the land, losing the mythical forest beneath the waves. Another story describes a fairy who allowed an ancient well to overflow and submerge the kingdom. With so many fairy tales surrounding the forest, the discovery really excited historians and Welsh citizens alike. Number 6. The Sinking Pond. A group of hikers set off a firestorm of speculation recently when they came across a strange sight in a hardwood forest near Manchester, Tennessee. The group stumbled upon a forest that seemed to be half living and half dead. But could the chilling scene be an optical illusion, or was something more sinister going on? The site, known as the Sinking Pond, is located on Arnold Air Force Base, and it got its name from a bizarre thing that happens every year. During the winter, the water depth varies, but in late summer, the entire pond sinks out of sight, leaving behind something truly unique: a stark line along the bottom of the tree trunks. Below this line, the trees are covered in moss and waterlogged. It looks as if someone simply spray-painted the bottom of the trees, spanning 394 acres, making them look like they are both living and dead at the same time. It might look like an alien landscape, but the trees get their unusual look as a result of sinkholes at the bottom of the pond. During the changing seasons, water levels rise and fall more abruptly, leaving behind the impression where the waterline was before the pond went dry. As climate change affects the area, extended drought conditions keep the pond dry, making the forest look like you've stepped into another world. Number 5. Sinister Scout Camp. Most parents expect their kids to get into some sort of shenanigans when they send them off to summer camp. But for those who brave New Mexico's Uraca Mesa at Philmont Scout Ranch, they might wish they had just gone to a water park instead. The Scout Ranch is spread over 214 square miles of rugged terrain, but strenuous hikes are the least of the worries for those who head into these great outdoors. Before it became a scout ranch and before they all disappeared, the ancestral Pueblans called the region home. A medicine man from a modern tribe who studied the petroglyphs in the area warned others that the ancient tribes who lived there before them had battled evil there. To keep the dark forces at bay, they entered a portal to the underworld, and a shaman sealed it behind them. Could this be why compasses won't work there? Or why Uraka has more lightning strikes than anywhere else in the state? Worried about the evil escaping from the portal he closed, the shaman placed cat totems around the mesa to scare away magpies that are able to open the portal. Uraka means magpie in Spanish, another strange coincidence about this remote campsite. But tales of ancient lost tribes are just the beginning of what has gone on in Uraka Mesa. Scouts hiking at night have heard strange noises. One person even spotted a dark-skinned, hairless figure watching him. After taking off in the opposite direction, the scout turned back, only to see another figure with an eerie blue glowing light around him. According to local Native American legend, it could be the shaman standing watch on the mesa, making sure that the evil entities on the other side of the portal stay where they belong. Whatever the origin is for all the strange happenings at the scout camp, one thing's for sure, there's something otherworldly going on in New Mexico, and it might be tied to the sinister past of the rugged wilderness. Would you ever visit the scout camp to see if you might catch a glimpse of the strange phenomena that happens there? Let us know in the comments below, and if you're liking this video, be sure to hit subscribe. Number 4. Rainbow-colored marsh. One look at this hidden forest and you'd swear you'd stumbled upon another world. But there's more to this wetland in Virginia than meets the eye. It has a magical secret that you have to see to believe. An unusual phenomenon that occurs throughout the year transforms this marsh in First Landing State Park into a rainbow-colored wonderland. Hikers stumbled upon the area and could not believe it. At first glance, they had no idea what they were seeing, so they snapped a bunch of photos before going in for a closer look. When they did, they found rainbow-slicked water as far as the eye could see. The couple were dying to know more about the multicolored marshland, and they got a little insight from a local swamp walk group. Decaying vegetation in the swamp let out natural oils as they decompose. That, along with the bacteria in the soil, combine to create the magical-looking water. When the oils get trapped on the surface, they pool there, and they can linger for a longer amount of time in larger areas when there isn't much rainfall. When they do and the sun starts to shine into the marshland, it creates a pastel rainbow effect that makes the water look like a shimmering, iridescent pool that has to be seen to be believed. Number 3. Ancient forest witch marks. Archaeologists discovered something strange in the New Forest in Hampshire, England. They found strange markings carved into trees they believed were there to ward off evil. The markings look like some form of ancient graffiti. Archaeologists think the lost symbols could be centuries old, left behind over 1,000 years ago by residents terrified of being attacked by something sinister. Witch marks were a series of concentric circles that the superstitious and the fearful carved into caves, buildings, and trees as a way to ward off malicious spirits and protect themselves from harm. They were said to terrify witches who feared the perfection of the circle. But the mystical marks weren't the only things found carved into the trees. Researchers also discovered a series of king's marks carved into trees as a way to save the best ones for use in shipbuilding. One can't help but wonder what might happen to those living in the area if the trees that used for protection were cut down and hauled away. Would a new wave of superstitious activity spread through the country? Or would another wave of witch hunters set out to protect themselves the way they did during the European witch trials? Graffiti isn't just for alleys or the sides of buildings anymore, so you might want to take a closer look the next time you spot archaic symbols carved into the side of a tree. They might be ancient scribblings that tell a tale of the ancient beliefs and long-held fears of our rural ancestors. Number 2. The Nine Ladies. In the English High Country, ancient structures, stone circles, and hidden burial sites are unearthed all the time as production and construction move further into the forests. But a stone monument found in the moors continues to inspire and attract those keen to catch a glimpse into the distant past. Many stone monuments have been unearthed at Stanton Moor, but even with so many new discoveries, a group of 9 stone cairns seem to get the most attention. Known locally as the Nine Ladies, the monuments were first discovered in 1782, and the story behind them is one steeped in folklore, telling a tale of 9 ladies who were punished for dancing on a Sunday. Their punishment? Being turned to stone. The stone circle is part of a Bronze Age complex along with countless prehistoric circles and standing stones. The 9 ladies date to about 3,000 to 4,000 years ago, but other than the original folk tale, no one knows exactly when or why they were placed there. Could they mark the graves of real women punished for dancing? Or are they there for some other reason? Other stone monuments, including Stonehenge, have astrological origins, and some are placed over ancient burials. So is it possible the 9 ladies were real and are buried beneath the stones that bear their names? No one knows if it was just a marker, or if it was used for some other ritualistic or ceremonial purposes. For now, though, people continue to visit the monuments and imagine a time when 9 ladies were punished for their dancing and made into these markers that continue to capture the imagination of visitors hundreds of years after they were placed there. Number 1. Polish Cache. Forestry worker Boguslaw Schwittenberg was out for his usual work day when he spotted something strange in the forest by the side of the road. After taking a closer look, the man realized he had found something special: 2 clay pots filled with silver coins. Excited by his find, Schwittenberg immediately handed the hoard over to the local archaeological museum, and the race to figure out where the coins came from was on. Working to clean the coins, experts had a monumental task on their hands. The treasure was in good shape, but the coins were tarnished and mostly stuck together in clumps. The first few silver pieces experts preserved dated to 1516 and 1612, a time when Poland was experiencing a revolution. For centuries, Polish people spoke Latin, but during the 1500s, Polish became the official language. At the same time, art, music, and literature flourished, with their influences seen in a new wave of elaborate architecture. As experts continue to restore the precious coins, they are unearthing a part of Polish history that they may one day be able to decipher, one that might tell the world more about the Renaissance that ushered in a new era in Poland. Thanks for watching. Which one of these strange things found in the woods fascinated you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like these. See you next time. Bye!